We have a very quick lesson today in vertical and horizontal lines. You should remember these from last year. So, we're going to look at this first line right here. And I'm going to just pick some random points off of it. And we're going to put their values over here in this little box. So in other words, this first point I picked over here was -6, 7, -8, and the y value was 3. This second point, x value of 1, y value of 3. Y value of x value, of 5, y value of 3. This is an x value of 8, a y value of 3, and finally the last one was an x value of 10 and a y value of 3. Well, obviously, this is a horizontal line. And what did you see about every point on this horizontal line? That's right, the y values were always 3. So the easiest way to write the equation of a horizontal line is y equals, and then whatever the y value is always equal. In this case, it's 3. It's really, from the equation of a line, y equals 0x plus 3. And this 0 right here represents the slope. So we call this a Miss Duff skiing hill because she doesn't like to go down big hills. So right here, she'd be happy to ski on this because it's nice and flat. I wouldn't like to ski on it. Its slope is 0. How boring is that? Okay, then we go to the other extreme, which is over here. And if I were to pick points on this, let's see what happens when I pick these points. Let's see, the first point I picked happened to be 1, 2, 3, -8, and the y value was 10. Whoops, I gotta change that. That's a little typo right there. Okay, all good. So the next one, -8, 6. I think you can see where we're going with this line now. The next point I picked was -8, 2. And this one was -8, 7. And the last one I picked was -8, -10. So that was -8, -7. I'm not sure if I said it right. So this one, the equation, we saw the x values were always -8. And this, obviously, is a vertical line. Its slope is undefined, and there's two ways to remember that. Well, we can remember it the skiing way, which is kind of the fun way to remember it. If I were to ski down this, I'd become undefined. There is no way anybody could ski down this. But the real reason it's undefined is because if you were to do the slope, you would get a 0 in the denominator. Remember, slope is the change in y, 10 minus 6. I'm going to pick these 2 points right here, over the change in x, -8 minus a -8. Well, when we do that, we get 0 on the bottom. So that's the real reason it's undefined. But sometimes it's easier to remember it the fun way. Skiing. You'll become undefined if you try to ski down it. All right, so write the equation that represents a vertical line. Okay, so you got to get vertical straight in your head. Vertical means to go up and down like that. Not too vertical, but you get the idea. Passes through the point 5, -3. 5, -3 would be right there. And a vertical line, well, let's make this all pretty. So we want you to get straight in your head so that you can immediately, boom, no questions asked, go. Oh, a vertical line is in the form x equals. And now I got to figure out, well, what are my x equal all the time here? Well, if at first you're unsure, you can just pick a few points and count over and go 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5, 1, that's 5, 2, that's 5. Oh, my x values are always going to equal 5. But really where these come in are we can do some bounded region stuff by this. So we've got 3 lines we want to graph over here. Well, one of the lines is the 2 lines right here, x equals -1, y equals 2. They're really easy to graph. So I'm going to take a line tool and x equals -1. Okay, that means it's vertical. So x equals -1 is going to go right here. And I'm going to change the color of that. Let's make it something that'll stick out. Ooh, that looks nice. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change this color so that they match. All right, next line, y equals 2. Well, let's change that to, how does bright yellow sound? Ooh, that looks good. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to take that line tool again. Y equals 2 is where the y values are always 2. So that's a a horizontal line. So y equals 2 is going to be right here. Change that color to lovely yellow. And the last one is a traditional line. Well, I'm going to solve that. Y equals, I'll bring the -2x over so it's in an mx plus b form. It tells me to start at -4 and then apply my slope of up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and I'm going to go down 2 over 1 just so I can see where it's going. Let's get a line. All right, so those are my 3 lines, and as always, what you need to do is label your lines. So this is the line y equals 2. This is the line x equals -1, where all the x values are always -1. And this is my y minus 2x equals -4. So we've got all our 3 lines graphed. And what did the question want us to do? Sketch the region bounded by the 3 lines. Okay, bounded means to surround. So when I look at these 3 lines, what they end up doing is they have, let me find it. This is the area that's bounded that little triangle in there. So I'm going to take that triangle. I'm also going to fill it so you can see it better. There we go. Now, as close as I could, I didn't fill it all, but that's the area bounded. Now we can do things like that with that. We can find its area, we can find its perimeter, but that is the area. Now, normally if you were doing this and I asked you on a test or a quiz to do it, what you would probably do to show the area bounded is you would more than likely shade it in like this. You would just show me that you understand that this is the area that's bounded by those 3 things. So you'd give it a little shade. You can shade it in with your pencil to make it look pretty. That's why I did that. It just looks pretty that way. Ooh, it looks like a zebra. All right, so here's your key vocabulary for today. We learned about a vertical line. That's a line whose slope is undefined, and it is in the form x equals b. A horizontal line is a line whose slope is 0. Oops, got a little typo in there too. And that is in the form y equals some number. A slanted line is what we call our normal lines, y equals mx plus b, because they're neither horizontal nor vertical, they're slanted.